have a request.
Mm-hmm.
If you can take mine first, that will be much helpful because I have a meeting after half an hour.
Sure. Yeah, we can do that.
Okay.
So,
Thank
yeah.
you.
All right, let's go ahead and start. And if I haven't met you later, then we can start talk a little more and tell me. You can tell me a little more about yourself. So, Abhishek, I see that you started picking on the new lighting challenge. That's very exciting.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay. And this is your reference, right? And
Yeah.
can I ask how closely you are looking to matching into this reference, or this is more of inspiration?
It's kind of inspiration.
Hmm.
Actually, I was going for the same type of the effect that Granny has, but I was going to use this effect on wings actually, the tail of the mermaid actually.
Hmm. Okay,
So,
cool.
yeah, and
Um,
boy is actually shocked what he just catch. He can't believe. I was thinking like that of the scene.
hmm. Okay, that really helps, yeah, because I do want to ask a few questions to see your intention and what kind of story you're trying to tell. So if that is the case, I think right now what I'm seeing is I'm not too sure about the overall the key light direction. I think the mood is clear that you want a nighttime, almost mysterious, kind of magical feeling. But
Yeah.
I wasn't really sure where the light is coming from because the water is glowy and her tail is glowing and her piece is also glowing. So um, you can have, of course, more than one light source. That's all entirely up to you. But it will be helpful to define the key, like the most dominant light source in this scene. So I'll leave that up to you to decide what you want that to be. So if you want me to
I
be the
think I had already decided. I will
t-
go for the
the
light
tail.
that will come from the tail, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Awesome. So if that is the case, I think that we can definitely try to lower the water surface down as well as the headpiece down. So we can give the
Okay.
tail as a main focus. And
Yeah.
also, since this is her tail, this Little Mermaid's tail, that I would imagine the light that's coming on her will be brighten her a lot more since it will have a like probably a fall off onto him. And right now he's a little brighter than she is. But
Okay.
yeah, I think I'm gonna just like this. These are the main things I want to see from this. You're doing a really good job, and but these are the direction I want you to head in as overall direction. The first one will be the separation between the characters and background, and because right now there are a lot of darks in this image right now, she kind of gets lost, and Mermaid kind of get lost against the sky. So it's up to you on how you want to separate them. You can make the sky brighter, make it a more starry sky, glowy sky, or you can bring out her key light and over a fill light. Maybe not fill light because it's a nighttime, but just to help her to separate against the sky. And the
Okay.
second, yeah, awesome. And the second one is like we discussed earlier, the light source and motivation, which you already covered. So, and then the third one would be the details and the highlight and the dark. So it will be really cool to see that the light source is coming from her tail, but you can also see that in this image, in this reference, you can still see some kind of detail coming from the light source when she's glowing. And right now,
Yeah.
yeah, and the tail is kind of lost its shaping. So if I didn't know this was a mermaid, I would be wondering what is this? Because it's kind of it's a little bit flat now at the moment. So if you can bring back a little bit of the detail and the shaping back, I think it'll be really helpful.
Uh,
Yeah.
okay. For that, how can I achieve that thing? Actually, I didn't actually get the how to do that part. I just create one separate emission layer, and I
Mhm.
just did merge. So I
Mhm.
think that's a wrong method, I guess.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah. I think. Yeah. I'm not sure what this shader looks like by itself, but of course there are many ways to approach it. Even I think this will be always be an interesting creative problem for self. Like how do you make a light source that also has some kind of definition? So um, probably might need some comp trick. So yeah, you can see what you can try out mixing the result from lighting and comp. And last one is I want to emphasize on a little more on the shaping and the read of the character and the facial expression. That kind of goes along with the first note that like the once after you have a separation of the character in the background, hopefully we can see a little bit more of her face and read her face a little better. Um, this could also be because of the camera angle. This could be a little tricky because right now we are seeing more like only a little bit of her facial expression. So um, I'm not sure if you are open to moving the camera a little bit to see her face a little bit more, or you want to keep her more
Yeah.
mysterious and just like keep her face more her facial expression more hidden. But in general, we probably want to look at her face a little bit more. So
Maybe you can cheat a little bit and rotate her towards camera a little bit also.
yeah, that would
Okay.
definitely be a possible option. Um, so I think these are the overall direction I will start with, and after that, if you have enough like between iterations, I think for water, it's always really tricky. Water is always very tricky for lighting artists, especially this big body of water. In general, after if you're open to low darkening the ocean surface, like oh, this is probably not a good image. I think having some specular highlight on the water surface and some reflection, as well as a shadow of these characters on the water, will be really helpful on telling the viewers what this plane is to give it that
Okay.
water ocean feeling. So let me see if I could find anything. Yeah, so I have a picture of a life of pi, so you can see that so they have a lot of similar ideas, glowing stuff, but you can still see a little bit of specular highlight on the ripples and the reflection of the boat, and also the boat itself is casting a little bit of shadow. So I think that
Yeah.
could be very helpful for you to help you define what the background is and also have add more detail.
Okay.
Yeah. Is that helpful? Do you have any questions that you want to clarify?
Yeah. Regarding the camera, so should I change my camera to the mermaid side, right? To see we can see the mermaid face. That's what you are asking me, right?
Yeah, you there's definitely an option, and if you want to keep it hidden, it's fine as well. I think it will be, yeah, I think in general, if you can, if it's possible, rotating her or cheat the camera a little bit more to the middle of two of them so you can read both of their faces at the same time, that would be the most ideal.
Okay. Yeah. Got
Yeah,
it.
yeah. Is there, well, this is probably, I'm not sure, because I'm not familiar with the scene. I'll probably look at a few more um, pieces before I can say this is like a note I want to give. That would be, um, I wonder if it's any way possible to make her skin and the net itself and the tail look wet. I'm curious.
Okay.
I'm not sure if this is part of the shader because if not, there will be a lot of hassle to add in like that wet feeling, have the specular highlight. But my this is my perception of this. This is like this boy just picked her up out of water, but overall, she looks a little dry, in my opinion. Just her skin and well, there's no. I know that there's no water drop in this set right now, so it's probably a lot of extra work to deal with that, and it will be okay if you don't want to work if you don't want to add up that right now and just focus on the lighting. But it's a nice little touch. Later on down the road, we can worry about that later.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Linda.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Yeah. Bye bye.
All right. See you. Bye. Cool. Let's see who else is here. I will start with Paul's work since he posted early. I'm sorry I haven't been able to do a live stream until today. And
Linda, nice to meet you.
nice to meet you. Yeah. If we have time later on, maybe I'll ask you more about yourself. But I will just go ahead and start talking about your work. And
Okay.
first of all, I think it's coming really nicely. I see you put a lot of new things compared to your previous version, which is this one. And you also fine-tune the background to match the overall feeling a little better and added these extra little sidekicks of the clones, which is I think is really fun. So overall, the first thing I noticed is even the volumetric, even though it was very nice touch to add this feeling in this shot. But I think the position of this light currently is kind of washing out his face and reducing the contrast that we're not drawn to his face as much anymore. We kind of, my attention kind of goes here because right now this is actually the highest contrast area. So that just kind of, because in the shot usually we tend to look at the highest contrast area and also the brightest area. So the volume mesh right now it's kind of pulling our attention away from that. But I think a very easy solution, I don't know if it's possible for doing comp, if you can just have that character broken out. I kind of just quickly kind of have your original one and your latest one. I kind of just mix the two together with just the character. So you still have a little bit of the volumetric, but not washing out as much on the character's main features on the face. So we can still read him a little bit better. That also helps separate him from the background a little bit more if you lower the volumetric on him. Yeah, I'm not sure if this is the direction you want to go with. What do you think? Because I know
No,
that.
I was following the feedback from Christos,
Mhm,
and he told me the same. I need to low down the haze,
mhm.
and I was working on that feedback.
Cool, awesome. Yeah, I didn't know if you got feedback from him already. So that's good to know that you already have some idea on where you want to head into. And my second one will be having a little more definition on the background character, because when I first glanced at this image, when I'd seen the thumbnail on Discord, I totally missed that these extra characters in the background. I didn't know what they were just from reading the silhouette. And I know that it's a tricky balance to like trying to bring out the shaping, but also not drawing too much attention. But like in your references, because all these characters still have some kind of shaping and very recognizable outlines of these are people in the background. So my brain registered that. However, because we don't usually assume octopus in the background, it took me a little while to realize, oh, these are actually the copies of him. Um,
Wow.
so especially with the background, it seems like you have other light sources in this backdrop. I know it's just a flat backdrop, but I'm assuming this environment has more than just one light source, and maybe they will have a little bit more highlight that kind of helps distinguish your shapes and their tentacles a little bit more, that help the read of the background character. And let's see.
I have a
Um,
question.
mhm,
I would like to put the lamps up to the other octopus, but
mhm,
I don't know if I have to make the lighting more like the reference or
mhm.
put some lights behind in the other characters. And my doubt is like I could lose the attention in the first character
Mhm,
in the in the middle character because it's fighting with the other lights.
mhm. Yes.
What to do?
So I think if we look at your references, they definitely have the light that's hitting all the other characters. They create pretty strong highlight actually, but because they have this overall volumetric that's across the background, it
Mhm,
kind of separates all these characters from her, the main character, because now she has the darkest dark. The other character might have the highlights, but they don't have the dark. So
mhm,
your eyes will always look at her because now she still has the highest contrast. So if you want to do that, I would say you can probably still put volumetric over them, but probably you can do what you already do in this image. Have the volumetric wash over the whole character and not having the contrast as high as what you want in the middle. That probably will help to give more shaping and the feeling, but not distracting from the main character.
okay.
Yeah. And just overall, if just that one highlight is not enough,
you can put some ammos in the overall environment that can probably help pushing them back, which you already have some I can see. So maybe you can play with the balance of the two and see what happens.
Right.
Yeah. I think the next few notes are kind of a little more, I think, so tricky because I understand that you're using the backdrop. This is not a whole set. But I think because knowing how bokeh works and just looking at this image itself, I can tell that this is like a zooming image and it's cropped out. And it's and it kind of throws off the scale of the whole composition. Because I could tell that this is not something that's cohesive with the foreground character's scale since we're kind of zooming it into a small part of a background. So I'm not sure if there's anything you could do about it. If you can find a backdrop of the same film that's a little bit cleaner without the main character in the middle of the shot so you can get a wider crop instead of having to zoom in so closely. But this is also, I think it doesn't affect the overall lighting and feeling. It's just something that I picked up because I'm trying to figure out the whole scale and depth of the scene, and I can tell there's a drop off between this character and the background because the background got really blurry. So, but that's just, yeah, you can take that with a grain of salt. You don't have to do it. It's just something that my brain registers. So if you have it,
If you can have another backdrop image, that would be great. If not, we can leave it as is. You don't have to worry too much about it. But
Right.
yeah, I do want to point out the other thing that I picked up with this backdrop is you might want to consider balancing the highlights and the black point with your foreground and midground objects, like these octopuses. So you can see that in here, because these are light sources, these highlights are actually pretty bright, whether it's a reflection or the light source itself. And right now in your image, these light sources or these reflections are not nearly as bright as the highlight on the character and the volumetric itself. So I can tell that it's a backdrop instead of like feeling like a light source in the background. And that also applies to some of the dark areas in the backdrop. It will probably just need a little bit of Photoshop, like to bring out the highlight and the darks, so you can have a little more variation, more interesting to look at. So it's not just a mid-tone, can have a little more dark here, like the actual film itself. It's just something that you can possibly explore to help it feel more coherent as a set instead of just like virtual production background. And that's probably, yeah, so the light source will feel more like a light than just a matte painting.
Great.
Yeah. Do you have any question for me?
No,
Are the things I'm saying clear? Are they helpful?
it's really helpful. It's complement with the Crystal's feedback.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm working on
Yeah.
that feedback and you complement with this one. It's more clear for me.
Okay, that's good. Yeah, if you have anything I'm saying that you feel like, oh, I forgot to mention it earlier, the class, like if I'm saying anything that goes against the previous feedback you're getting, please let me know because I know this can be very frustrating when you get 180 direction on where this needs to be going. So I'm glad in this case it worked out.
No, don't worry.
Yeah, cool. Okay.
Thanks so much.
Yeah, of course. And then let's move on to Ayako. And Ayoko, sorry, I'll have video here too. So I think since I haven't met you, Ayoko, if you have a chance to, when you watch this video, please reply on the channel and tell me a little bit more about inspiration and what you reference, what you're looking at as the references, and what kind of movie you're trying to achieve. From me looking at your current version of work, I am assuming this is very dramatic. It's almost like arena lighting because you have a strong spotlight surrounding the character, a lot of volumetric. So almost like they're in the center of a wrestling stage, and things are definitely very high tension. Um, I'm also not super familiar with this asset, so one thing, the first thing I want to say is I noticed that it's like the key fill ratio on the two characters kind of was something that kind of first drew my attention. I know that this character is a robot. They probably have a lot of dark metals or something, but overall, I feel like she has a lot of fill light on her throughout the shot that the robot is not necessarily getting. Or when it doesn't have to be a fill light that's lifting all the darks up, or some kind of specular highlight that could help drawing more shaping and details to his tiny parts. Because for a lot of the shots, I think, um, especially when a shot is fast, when shots are short with a lot of action, it's always very challenging to light because you have such a limited amount of time to actually draw the details and direct the eyes. So I can like for these, I kind of get lost of what he was doing. Like I couldn't really tell his head and the rest of the body that part apart because some kind of shaping will be helpful. And I could see that overall she has a lot more fill on her face and on her body that I don't think that the robot was getting in the beginning, or at least not as much. So that's the first thing I noticed. And then the second thing I would say is I kind of want to see a little bit more detail in the background. I'm not exactly sure how detailed this set is or how much asset has proper shader that doesn't distract the viewer's eyes. But right now, because the volumetric is so strong, I mean, in this particular frame, it works really well. I like the lens flares. It definitely have that dramatic, like that moment of things are going on. This is like the important moment. But when in the beginning, like here, I kind of when she is so small, like I kind of my eyes want to see like what's happening in the background. Where are they? And I'm not getting too much of that. So if it's possible and the background is not too distracting, I would recommend to lower the volumetric a little bit in some of these sections when the camera is moving around. Maybe I'm not sure what kind of control you have to cheat that, because sometimes the framing of the camera it doesn't work well with high up volumetric all the time. So, and then let's see. Yeah, it's like right now I can see that there's something over here, but I also just couldn't read it that well. It's like, but I'm trying to guess what it is. And I'm not sure, and the next one will be the shadow quality and the shaping of the character. I'm not sure what kind of tool you're using, but I'm kind of curious because it feels like the shadow is not working the way I expect it to work. Because I'm getting these kind of shapes on her outline as on the rim light, and that doesn't really have like a soft shadow usually roll off on the diffuse surface. I'm not sure it's because of your shader. Maybe you're going for a more stylized look, so it doesn't have that kind of traditional materials, the roll of that diffuse lighting. And also, and most of the shadow seems extremely sharp. And also have these, like over here, I can see when two lights meet, there's a middle, there's like a thin line of the shadow area. Yeah, if you don't mind just telling me a little bit more what kind of tool you're using that is kind of causing these shapes of the shadow, and also like inside her mouth, I'm seeing that it's kind of getting hit by the light as well. So we can probably talk a little bit more about it and see if there anything that we can do. And also, I'm also not sure what kind of motion blur this is. Not that it really matters right now. This is for lighting. This is not for technical detail. But sometimes, I think for this mostly it's okay. But sometimes when these kind of technical details draw the attention away, we'll probably have to pay a little more attention on that. Also, I'm not sure if this set comes with like shaders for the character's skin, hair, and clothes. If not, then that would definitely be very tricky because I think right now it almost feel like her hair and her skin and her pants are both kind of similar material. Same with the robot. I'm not feeling that he or she, this robot has a metallic feeling, um, probably due to the lack of reflection and specular. So, um, yeah, if this is a stylized look, then we can definitely talk more like what we're trying to achieve with the style. If you have references, then I can help you with how to get the look that's not, hope I can separate at least like the middle of the robot and the human character. But I think overall, yeah, it's definitely like this is a single attention that I know where I'm supposed to be looking at, and some nice detail with the comp and the lens flare. So yeah, so when you get a chance, just reply to the channel and let me know, well, what you're currently working on what some of your previous feedback that you got, so I can help you iterate further. And let's see. And for Nigel, is Nigel here? No, but hi Nigel. Hello, nice to meet you. And I see you also pick up the new lighting
Oh,
challenge
there
as
you go.
well.
Hello. Okay.
Oh, hi. Oh, yeah, you're here. Sorry. I didn't realize you're here. So, but yeah, nice to meet you.
Oh, nice to meet you as well. So you're doing the live critiques?
I am doing a live critique for this month. Yes.
Oh, cool. Okay, because when I was here, which was a while ago, it was just yeah, I forgot his name. That's embarrassing.
Michael?
Yep. Yeah, there you go. Yes. Ooh, it's an
Mm.
easy name too. Okay. So much has changed. Wow.
Yeah, I'm just a guest for this one, so hopefully I'm not throwing anybody off from the previous direction they're going with.
This is my first submission since I've been back.
Oh, nice. Well, welcome back.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course, sorry, I'm drinking water. So I see that so this okay, so first I think the first thing that I noticed in your frame is really beautiful, that I can definitely tell you define the timing and the mood in general. But I would, if I could recommend that, if possible, we might want to play around with the composition, the framing of the camera, because there are a lot of different things going on in this frame right now that's kind of drawing the attention away, based on from the character based on the composition. For example, this water line is kind of here in the middle, and this is also kind of, this rock is sort of dividing the scene to the half, and then we have a character here and a character here. So it's not really like a nice, like a line that guides my eye to it. It's a lot of like, there's kind of equals that's dividing my attention. There's like up, the sky and the water, the mermaid, and the boy, and the rock, sky, and everything kind of just all equally taking up the same amount of space in the shot. So if you're open to it, I would recommend play around with the framing a little bit more, so we can focus our eyes just on the characters. So that's my first suggestion. And then for the second one, I see that you chose Moana as your reference. And I think for the mermaid, you're doing a really good job of matching the feeling of her face and the mermaid's face. But I think my suggestion would be
Overall, maybe considering adding the shadows back, because when I look at this image, I can see that the sunlight is probably coming from behind them based on the stronger light. But that sunlight is not casting a very dark shadow, that shadow that makes me feel like it's from the sunlight. Because a lot of the fill light is softening things out with a diffuse shadow, like under the chin and here. And I know that this is a stylised choice that we made because we make animated movie, but you can still see that the shadow on the ground is still fairly sharp. And she has some dark under her chin to make sure the key lights get actually giving her some shaping. And this body, I know,
Oh.
is probably very cheated. I can probably, they probably put a lot of fill light on her, so the sun doesn't cast sharp shadow like this on her face to make her look more appealing. But it's usually only limited on the character, and the environment in general is still casting dark shadows. So I would say maybe we can probably do a similar approach on the characters' faces to achieve a little bit, but maybe we'll have to have some stronger shadow, maybe coming from the sun under the sleeve here, and possibly casting shadows from the boat onto the water, as well as from the mermaid onto the water as well.
This is clear water. Will the shadows happen on water?
Yes, actually.
Exactly.
Let me look at some references. I'm not sure. Do you guys use shot deck at all?
I don't. I don't know what that is.
Cool.
Yeah, we do. We do.
Awesome. Yeah, such an awesome tool. So I'm trying to see if I can find a good reference.
Oh, that's cool.
Let's see.
Is that free?
It used to be, not anymore. We have to pay for it now. But it's a really great resource. So I would recommend. If you're working on something, it's a good, like, at least for 1 month you pay for it, and then that gets cheaper. But okay, so afterwards, at least for that 1 month, it's if I'm working on something actively. Let's see if I can find something. Yeah, I think a lot of it, like, depending on your camera angle, like, for example, this one, you can see that this is some of the shadows, like, but if you look at slower, you kind of don't see as much because the reflection lens angle is stronger than what you can see on the shadow. So it will largely depend, but you can see, yeah, water does have, they do receive shadows.
Okay.
Yeah, cool. So, and the next I would say will be the separation of the foreground, middle ground, and background. Because right now, the value and the value and the color of the boy and the rock are very similar. So if you zoom a little bit, you can kind of see the face of the boy, but I think we can probably push a little bit further to help us separate a little more. And I think depending on what kind of feeling you're going for, you don't see as much, but there is some atmosphere in the far background to really sell the depth and the scale of the scene. So I think maybe in this kind of lighting scenario, not super foggy, probably still over here around the horizon, you would see usually the ocean and the sea kind of get a little foggier as so you wouldn't have this. Usually, you don't have like super kind of sharp contrast on the water surface in the sky. But I just find a detail. I'm just more paying attention to, like, how do we separate the character against the midground. In this case, would be this rock, and also separate these from the far background, which is the sky.
The rock was originally gray, but then the fill light, I don't know how to do light linking in Blender. But when I go back to Maya, I'll be able to do it. Can I make the rock a different color? Because it is close to the boy's skin tone.
Yes, you can make whatever you want.
Okay.
Yeah, you're the artist.
Do you think that'll help in separating the midground from the foreground?
Yeah, for sure. If you have a different color, and also based on where your key is coming from, which is, I'm going to say, from here, from the back of the character, probably around 10 to 11 o'clock from here, I would imagine this rock mostly being shadow. I think right now what I'm seeing is, like, you have a lot of fill light coming from different directions. So I can see there's a blue fill light probably from the water, which is which they're on top of water, so yes, they will be there. But they also see this relatively warm light that's hitting this side of the face. They're not really. I don't think it's super motivated considering they're surrounded by blue bodied water. So this will be a tricky image to reference from because
In this case, she's still standing on top of sand, which is really provides really warm bounce light. So, though this is a great reference for the overall mood, the actual character lighting for your setup might need to be adjusted a little bit because there wouldn't be that much source in the environment that's providing these warm bounce light on the character.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but
I mean,
yeah.
am I able to send you another version that has the blue light? Because I'm not sure.
Yeah, of course. You can just post them on the web lighting web channel, and I will try to do these reviews daily, as if my
Okay.
schedule allows, so we can talk about your updates in the future.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thank you.
of course. And I think right now, I can see the character does look pretty wet, which I'm just really nice. It's really nice to see that. Since she looks like she got pulled out of water, her skin should look a little wetter than his, and the tail looks really nice. The shader they put on is the shiny sequin. It's very nice. But oh yes, and last but not the least, if it's possible with the camera and the angle, I think in addition to the shadow, some reflection of the character will be very helpful. Like in this case, you can see the reflection of the character. Of course, again, it depends on the camera angle and how strong the reflection will look like. But in general, when you have the specular and the reflection, that's when you really sell the water and that feeling.
Okay.
Yeah. Do you have any question for me? Just in general on how to
Nope.
approach? I hope this is clear. Is there anything that I'm saying that you feel like is not super clear?
Well, I do have a question about the framing. Do I make the rock smaller? Like, how do I want to tell a story when I frame the characters? Don't know. I don't have any ideas anymore.
Yeah. Framing is always tricky. I feel like a good composition will do half the work for you. If you have a good shot to start with, it's like already 30% there. I would say in general, for traditional film aesthetic, of course, it doesn't always apply because it's what you want to achieve. These characters are cutting pretty close to the edge of the frame, especially when she has the top of the hair cut off, and same thing with here, and the head over here is cutting this perfect tangents with the edge of the frame. I think an easy approach was just trying to pull the camera out, further out a little bit, and see how that gets you. So you can have a little more breathing room between the edge of the frame and the characters. So you can actually not having all these kind of like broken negative spaces that distract the eye.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yep. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. All right. And last but is it the last one? Wow. Okay. And last but not the least is Bipul. I saw that you have been working on this for a while already, and this is very nice update you had. And I saw that your previous notes were to reduce the DOF and something else. I think you did a great job addressing the notes. I think you're really close to a very beautiful image. I just have a few little things for you to consider if you're considering to do more iterations on it. And the first thing would be, again, the separation of foreground, middle ground, and background. I didn't have time to do paint overs, but I think right now, if I squint my eyes or zoom out really, really, really small like this, I can tell this is definitely where I'm supposed to be looking at. This is a key. But everything else kind of blends in together. I don't really know which one is closer to me or the camera. I think easy way to help us to separate, to create that depth in this image will be slightly maybe darken this foreground branches, maybe by like 20%. A little cheat, since I know that in real life we don't usually get these nice, beautiful silhouetted images in the foreground. But since we're the artists, we can do what we want. I think it will help that we just darken just a little bit more over here, so we can kind of separate this branch against the darker snow in relatively close foreground. And for the midground background, reducing the DOF really helps a lot, so it doesn't feel like a miniature. But I think maybe starting after behind this hill, you can probably put a little more atmosphere like you did in the far background. Maybe not as heavy as these far background has, a little bit more just so you can separate this area and these mountains a little bit from the cabin and the midground trees. And one more thing I want to check is I noticed there a little bit inconsistency on your key lights on color on the snow as well as the fill side color. I'm mostly talking about these trees and this hill. I'm seeing that I'm assuming this is also snow. If it's not snow, please let me know. Assuming this is also snow, the light that's hitting here, it's a lot brighter and less saturated compared to this one right here, or this section that's hitting the tree. Also, I can see that this light seems to be, and this hill has a little more wraparound, seems a little more frontal compared to what's hitting this background mountain over here. So I'm kind of a little curious what the intention were. And if possible, we can find the middle of balancing the saturation and the intensity of this key light with the rest of the nice sunny feeling on a snow view. And yeah, I think you're very close. I think that's all the suggestions I want to give you today. And I do have a question that I don't know very well this set. Is this snow line over here, this is in the model, I assume? I wouldn't know. It's just one thing while I was looking at this. Yeah.
Yeah, it's in the model.
Oh, cool. Yeah, then don't worry about it. I was just thinking it's very unfortunate because when looking at this, the contrast between the saturation, the color of the snow and the wood, it draws my attention like there's a line right here. And I look closer, it's like, oh, okay, that's the snow. That's like, I guess the wind blows a certain way, so it doesn't accumulate on this side, which is very nice attention to detail, but we're just kind of curious why there's this like clean wood all of a sudden. I hope they have a little more breakdown, just like a little bit on a few panels, so it's not just like sharp line. But not our problem, not right now. But yeah, I think overall that is it. And please let me know if you have any question or if the feedback I'm giving, or if you have any other stuff you want to talk about. And Justin, I saw you submitted something else earlier, but I wasn't able to play it. So I want to check with you on that, like, because when I click on it, it doesn't play, and when I full screen, it also looks very pixelated.
I can upload a different thing really quick. Give me
Sure.
one sec.
Yeah. Did I miss anybody? Hope no.
Oh, I don't know why it's doing that. If you click the download icon, you might have to download it, but I can just throw up a JPEG really quick or a PNG.
Cool. Oh, I'm downloading right
I don't know
now.
why it's doing that.
Yeah,
It's really big, so it might take a minute, but there's a PNG if you want that instead.
Ah, cool.
Because it's
Now I
just
see it.
it just kind of like slowly pushes into the scene. So
Cool. Yeah, the Unreal Scene. All right. Sorry. Like, give me some time to look at this if you don't mind.
yep, no problem.
Okay. Yeah, I think this works really well for a first pass. I definitely get the feeling of this like very almost like fantasy feeling because the colors are very saturated. Um, so I like the warmth of the sun a lot, but I'm a little distracted by how much saturation it brings into this mid-ground area. I'm not sure if it's the same light that you're sharing from this foreground hallway and the mid-ground hallway, because right now I feel like the composition wants me to look at a tree, but because the both value and saturation level of the floor and the tree are very similar, my eyes are a little distracted over on the shadow on the floor and these columns and these contrasty area that tree kind of get lost in here just a little bit. Especially in this one particular hallway, they have a lot of lines, like even though it all frames nicely toward the middle, but the contrast of these lines and these bright area are so strong that the tree kind of just get lost in these um, very contrasty areas. So I'm not sure how much room you have to adjust because I know in Unreal we don't have as much control. So sometimes we just have to deal with it and figure out other cheats. So yeah, I'm not sure what your setup is. And I think overall this is looking really nice. I do feel like for a hallway that has both side windows, considering it's sunny outside, I assume it's sunny outside. Please let me know if it's not. Um, some of the area gets a little bit dark, darker than I would expect for a bright daytime with lots of window opening. Especially if we compare the area that's here in the middle to some of the foreground area, these quarters seems to have a little more bounce light compared to here. I think it will be nice if we can decide which direction we want to go to make it more coherent. Whether we want to stay dark like this and contrasty and moody, or bring everything up overall so the foreground hallway also gets a kind of nice bounce light around. And let's see. Yeah, I think they have very
nice material on this asset overall. Yeah, I think I would say if possible, we can consider rebalancing some of these highlights. Because right now, the sun hitting this area and this area are probably the brightest thing in this shot right now. And these, I mean, for further away a shot like this, it kind of works. But as it goes into like here, they definitely draw a lot of attention that's taking away from the tree. Also, it's kind of, they have another area. I'm assuming this is a skylight from the sky, the shadow coming in. There are a lot of busy shapes, a lot of like sharp line busy shapes that's not very helpful to help you to read the overall image. And let's see, this is 5-second shot. But yeah, I think this is a really great start. I definitely got the overall, the mood that you're trying to convey pretty clearly. Do you have any question, or is there anything you want to like trying to achieve, or talk about a little bit?
Yeah, I was just playing in Unreal really. I did do the Nuke to Unreal plugin, which was really fun. So like I have kind of cryptos in Nuke, and so I started to cheat a little bit with that. So that was really fun. Yeah, it was just kind of I was just exploring. So
nice. Yeah. This is Unreal 4, 5?
4, yeah.
4, nice. Yeah. Yeah.
I figured I'd start with that first and then try Unreal 5 after I do a little bit of 4.
yeah, that's probably 5 is not technically like production ready.
Yeah.
So 4 is very safe bet. And kind of Do you know what's outside the windows over here, or is it just a wall?
Yeah, those are. It's just there's a wall on each side of the windows there.
Cool.
I
Okay.
think I might be catching some funky reflections though of people in the HDRI that in that corner, so I have to switch that out.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, yeah, if you
yeah.
look, there's like people sitting there, and they're like, there's
Yeah.
nothing. Like I don't know.
It's okay. It's not super distracting. Yeah, but and I am kind of curious. Are these are okay? The things I'm talking right now. It's not overall, since especially on early passes. This is just small things I'm picking on. We can focus on drawing our attention to the tree first and worry about these things. So I'm just picking on the smaller things like these red lines. Not sure why are they red? Because I don't see on the other side. But these are all small things. We don't have to worry about it right now. And this pipe, unfortunately, is blue. That stands out quite a bit in the world environment. But again, small thing. It's not our concern right now. Mostly, it's just looking. We should be focusing on the tree itself. So
Oh, that's very helpful. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. I didn't realize how many complex shapes there are in there, and there's a lot. So I think I'll just try and minimize those and keep that focus on the tree more.
yeah. So yeah, I know this is the setting, like the kind of the environment setup is complicated with the light coming through like this. But yeah, I think it's a very good start.
Thank you so much.
Of course. Oh, we're almost at time. And does anybody have any question for me in general? Let me stop sharing. Let me see if I can jump in on my phone instead.
Linda,
Yes.
so I don't know if you talked about it. Sorry, my internet was kind of cutting in and out. There's a scene of the attic, from also the 31st from Cora. I don't know if you saw that one.
Oh yeah, I saw that one. I thought crystals would cover that. I haven't. So I kind of skipped that one because I thought crystals covered that one. But sure, let me save this.
I'm not sure if he actually did. So I was just wondering because like they were waiting for like feedback or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, let's see if I can. Cool. All right. Hi, Cora. Nice to meet you. Hopefully, you can see this video soon. And I think, first of all, you did a very good job on creating the overall mood as well as um, the focus of attention and the storytelling aspect of this image. I'm not sure what kind of feedback you've gotten so far. So again, if you hear anything that's going contradicting for your previous feedback, please let me know. And also, if you have any question, just reply on the channel and we can talk. First, I want to say it's a really good job of separating the foreground and keeping in the dark. And
I see the midground and background, and this is center your attention. And you have, though things are in the dark, I see a lot of details. The specular highlights and the shaping objects, so they don't get lost. I can tell exactly what these objects are. Um, I do think that right now we have a little bit of a competing light source going on because you have this moonlight hitting this door, and this door frame over here is creating some contrast and lines. And also we have the center of the lamp that I feel I'm supposed to look at. And it's perfectly fine to have both. Um, I would probably recommend, if possible, we can soften the shadow line of this window a little bit for a few reasons. First is the moonlight usually travel from the window to this side of the wall. In real life, it will get a little bit soft and not razor sharp from the shadow casting from the window frame. So that will also help diffusing some of these really, really strong lines over here, so we can possibly focus on the middle a little more. And then the other thing I've noticed is we have this floor and the wall right now has, even though the hue are different, they're kind of similar value. So I'm wondering it would probably be nice to have a little separation. Maybe we can slightly darken the floor a little bit, especially in this area, in this like foreground, middle ground area, since we're seeing a lot of the flatness on the floor that doesn't have a lot of interesting detail. And right now it's taking quite a big chunk of the space in this frame. So maybe we can just darken a little bit overall and maybe comp like maybe have this area just a little bit darker, or we can throw a light in the middle to brighten this area a little more, however you choose to approach this. And yeah, I think and then the rest will be like missing the final touches. I would recommend adding some final touches into comp, such as some glow that's from this lamp, and also these little nice string lights that can really help bring that magical touch of these kind of light source into your scene. And one thing I am seeing a very small detail is I see that there's a light source here, but I don't think the light's actually lighting the inside of the lamp, unless maybe that's just material itself is pitch black, maybe. I'm not familiar, but usually if we see a lamp, the inside of the lamp will be the second brightest thing next to the lamp, the actual light bulb itself. But right now, I feel like this highlight is the brightest thing instead of the light source itself. So if possible, maybe we can rebalance to make sure this is the brightest part and this is the second, inside lamp, the second brightest, and this will come third. Also, these are some smaller things in finer detail. Is I think with overall the interior scene like this, the night sky outside the window probably wouldn't be able to read as well if we are looking in the indoor scene due to all the light pollution, and just this probably was very exposed super high in outdoor area, not along with all these indoor lights. It's kind of but again, this is your world. This is the story you want to tell. Maybe this is the magical world that you want to have super bright starlight outside. I'm just assuming right now based on reality. So take it with a grain of salt on how you want to approach this the sky outside. But yeah, I think overall looks very nice. I do also have some questions about whether your bounce light on these upper ceiling area, are they the bounce light from the moon or bounce light from the lamp? Because it feels like there is a light that's coming from the bottom up in this direction, that's casting these fairly strong shadows. And I feel like overall, for moonlight and nighttime stuff, the bounce light wouldn't be strong enough to cast such strong shadow. Probably the whole ceiling area, I imagine, to be a little darker, and that will also help us focusing the attention more on this area. So yeah, just something that's slightly drawing my attention, but overall, definitely not the overall general mood killer. And yeah, if you have any question on the stuff I'm saying today, please let me know, and we can further discuss it. Yeah, did I miss anybody else? Wait. Yeah.
No, I think
No.
you're good.
Awesome. Yeah. Cool. Yeah. If you have any question on the stuff I'm saying today, or just want to talk about whatever you're working on, or just let me know.
Thank you.
Of course, yeah. And Paul and Nigel, it was very nice to meet you. I don't know. Yeah, I think last time we had a short conversation. I was asking everybody like how long they've been in this class and just kind of where they are, just so I can have know you guys a little better. So I don't know if you guys feel comfortable to share that. You don't have to. I'm just curious myself.
Well, I don't mind. It was nice meeting you as well. I've been here. Well, I've been a part of this for 2 years, but I haven't been active for 2 years. I've probably been active for 1 year because after COVID, my life kind of took a turn
Okay.
for the worse.
Oh, I
But
didn't
now I have
realize.
more time to be able to focus.
Cool. I just realized I wasn't sharing my screen when I was talking about Cora's work earlier, was I?
Mhm.
Ah, darn it. It's okay. I have OBS running. It should be okay. I'm a fool. I'm sorry, y'all.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry as well because I saw that you weren't sharing. But I was like, well, maybe it's by design. Maybe she didn't
Oh
want.
no, I forgot to click share again. Oh my goodness. But OBS should cover me, so hopefully we're good. Anyways. All right. So, okay. So you have been here for about 1 year on and off, and do you have any CG experience prior to this?
Yes, because
Okay.
I've attended some animation schools and visual effects schools as well,
Nice. Nice.
like Animation Mentor and
Nice.
Anim Squad. Two
Nice.
schools I've been to.
Cool. And do you still want to, is there area that you want to focus on in the CG industry? Like, are you more interested in doing animation, or do you want to focus more on lighting now, or do you want to be a generalist?
I'm so torn. Like I'm torn between lighting and animating.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But I love the creation process of telling a story. And
Uh-huh.
I know you can do both. You can do it through animating and you can tell a story through lighting.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess until I choose a team,
Mm-hmm.
I'll be a generalist.
Yeah. You can always do both. There are plenty of generalists around, and they're the greatest because they know a little bit of everything.
But are there like generalists in studios? Like, because I thought that you have to be like specific.
It depends
You
on
want to get hired.
the kind of studio you want to go to, because smaller studios in general want to have more generalist background. You will see them oftentimes come by responsibility that big studio divide them out. So, but some people want to do both, like everything, just a little bit of everything. They don't want to focus on one thing because it does get repetitive if you just do one discipline. It's same thing
Mm-hmm.
over and over and over the years. So it's just up to you.
Oh, then I prefer generalist. I can't do the same thing over and over again.
You might get used to it, but yeah, it's definitely up to you and your personality and what you want to do.
Okay. Cool.
Okay, and then cool. And are you on the East Coast, West Coast? What time zone are you in?
It is 12 o'clock.
Oh my
I'm on
goodness.
the East Coast.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
And I have to be to work early in the morning.
Oh
Oh,
my
it's
goodness.
fine. It's worth it. I'll be tired at my desk, go to sleep. It's fine.
Oh no. Okay, yeah, if you gotta go, please go. I'm sorry to keep you up.
No, it's no problem. I got to sacrifice for my art. There you
We all been there.
go.
We've all been there, yeah.
Who needs sleep?
I do. I want my sleep.
I
Yeah.
probably get my sleep at my desk when I'm not supposed to, but
Yeah, well, it happens.
I work
We'll
at a
sleep.
cubicle.
We'll sleep when we're dead.
Right,
Yeah.
that's right. Plenty of sleep.
All right.
And
Yeah.
coffee.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Thanks so much for sharing that. And Paul, I know we probably haven't met yet. Would you mind? Do you feel comfortable telling me a little about yourself? You don't have to. Absolutely don't have to. It's complete optional.
Don't worry. Sorry for my bad English, but
Oh
I'm
no, not at
Paul.
all.
I've been working in 3D like 6 years,
Mhm.
but just in advertising,
Mhm.
because in my country is where I can find more job.
Mhm.
But I'm tired to be generalist,
Mhm.
so I want to be focused on something that I really like it, and I decide to make beautiful pictures. It's
Mhm.
just the only thing that I want. I don't
Nice.
want to know nothing about rigging or animation. It makes me crazy.
Yeah, yeah, I feel you. That's actually how I am too. Like when I started, it was like animation. This thing has to move. Nope, no, I am not doing that. I'm not moving anything around. So
Yes,
yeah.
I start to experiment like psychosis.
Yeah,
It's totally crazy, the animation. I don't like it.
cool. Yeah. And you say you're in a different country. What country are you in?
I'm from Ecuador. It's
From
it's in South America.
nice. Hopefully the time zone was not too bad for you. Hopefully.
It's 11 p.m.
11. Oh my God.
But it's
Okay.
okay. Don't worry.
Okay.
It's
Yeah.
it's better than us at the East Coast, so it's good.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe I can try to do this a little bit earlier. Maybe I'll try to do this at 7 p.m. if that helps. Yeah. Let me see if
Yeah.
I can work on my schedule. Okay. That's really
I
helpful. Yeah.
mean, I'm fine with doing it at the time that you're doing it, but it's up
Yeah,
to
me
you.
too. I'm East Coast too. I'm fine with that because I know I never miss them because I don't have anything else to do.
Yeah, don't make it too close because I'll probably miss it
Yeah.
if you try to
Good because
accommodate the East Coast.
It's okay. Yeah, I get off work at like 6:30 the soonest, so the soonest I could do is probably 7.
yeah,
Yeah.
and it's good because it's like it's a time where I'm basically not doing anything anymore. So it's like for example, Mike normally would do at 11 a.m. or 12 or 1 p.m.
Mhm.
and I would miss a lot of them because I was just doing a bunch of stuff and I would forget about it.
Mhm.
And late at night or later in the day, I think it's easier for me because then I'm like, yeah, I know that that's happening and I've already calmed down and everything is more quiet, so it's easier.
Cool. Okay, that's good to know. Yeah. Yeah, I'll see how my schedule works this week. I'll probably still stick around like either 7 to 8 p.m. for now, and hopefully that works for most people. But other than that, yeah, I think that I'll probably wrap it up for tonight. And thank you all so much for joining me. And it's so nice to see you guys again, and also meet the rest of you.
Thank you.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
of course. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Yeah.
Good night.
Good night.
Thanks.
Good
Thanks.
Thank
night.
See
you.
Hope
ya.
you
Good
get some
night.
good
Bye.
Good
rest.
night.
Bye.
Bye.